So, should we get going or wait for Pat?
We have a quorum.
We have a quorum.
Yeah.
You want to talk to Pat?
Sure.
He's on his way. He asked me to call him from. Do you want to talk to him?
Well,
See how far away he is? He was 20 minutes out when I spoke with him.
I think there's enough sort of easy stuff that's
no,
not,
Got a copy.
yeah, so I think we can get it going. Yeah. So,
All right, Mr. Chairman.
all right.
Ready on time.
yeah.
So, welcome to the meeting for the Massachusetts State Athletic Commission. Today is Monday, August 20th. If we could all state our names for the record.
Chuck Blistell, Commissioner.
Brian Lambert, Commissioner.
What we seeing, Leonard?
Gierlich.
Natasha Belzer, Deputy General Counsel.
Matthew Keegan, Executive Director.
Rod Walkie, Commissioner. And if members of the public could state their name, please.
Joe Leonard, Western Mass MMA.
Danny Sheehan, boxer. Daniel Kelly, more. Baron Millie, coach. Dolly Palmer, boxer. Dean Fay, boxer. Stan Zanowski, boxing.
Thank you. So, would anyone like to have discussion regarding the minutes from July 16th?
Mr. Chairman,
go
before we
ahead.
begin, can we just make an announcement that the proceedings are being recorded?
Sure. The proceedings are being recorded today. So, I don't know if you had a chance to look at the minutes, if there was anything to discuss, and if not, somebody want to make a motion to approve the minutes from July 16th.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I reviewed them. They look accurate. I would make a motion to accept the minutes from the July 16th meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so why don't we take a look at agenda number 3, item number 3, application for promoter and matchmaker Dan Kelly. So,
It will be me.
all right, come on up.
Where is up? Anywhere?
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
You can have a seat right there.
Thanks.
All right, why don't we start with promoter. Mr. Kelly,
Yes, sir.
could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be a promoter here in the state of Massachusetts?
Well, you know, the cliche answer is somebody got to do it.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends, that's how I got started there. People are training all year for a fight and no show. Unless you're a potential world champion or signed with someone, you're not going to get a fight. So that's how I got started, and believe it or not, it's a labour of love for me.
Okay.
And I think I did my first show in 05, and I've been doing it on and off since. But every time, with the exception of this time, when I decided, you know, when people would ask me to do a show and I'd say, all right, had a few square bucks, I'd come in and just renew the license. It was never, I never had to go through a process to renew before. That must be a new procedure, so.
Yeah.
Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't have let it lapse if I knew that I was going to have to start all over again.
Okay.
I mean, this is what we've got now. So.
Sure.
So the other thing is I've done, according to Boxrec, my memory is not that good, but it says I did 13 shows, and I think Guy's been around for them all, but I never owed anybody any money, I never had an issue, I never complained. I can't see any reason. I put some money in the bank. I have 30,000 in the bank for this show, and I have the Royale paid for, which is 4,750. So that's almost 35,000 without a ticket sold, and I have the bond for 50,000. My credit is perfect. Well, I don't know, maybe that's might be not an exaggeration. I have really good credit, and I can't see. Hopefully, unless you guys come up with something, I hope that. I mean, it's going to be up to you guys, but I don't really see why.
Yeah, I mean, we like to
feel really
just...
bad if you guys told me to get out of here.
Right.
So that's about the layman's way of summing it all up right there. That's where I'm at.
Okay, well, we appreciate you coming in. We just like to meet everybody, and so I don't know, commissioners, if you have any questions for Mr. Kelly.
I have the bank statements here if anybody wants to see them, and the name of the manager. He said feel free to call him if there's any confusion about that.
Chairman. So we make a motion to approve Mr. Kelly's promoting?
Yeah, I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And Matchmaker? Have you had any experience as a matchmaker? And
Yeah.
You could just talk through it a little bit?
Yeah, when you do shows, you have to do that. You know what I mean? You might not always be licensed to do it. Basically, it falls down to the promoter to make sure it's a match. I'm a great believer in people fighting people who they should be fighting. You know, sometimes the commission says they're not going to approve him. Well, it's not so much that you shouldn't approve him, but it's who you're approving him. You could approve him, in my mind, in my humble opinion, you could approve a questionable guy against another questionable guy. At least the two of them will make a few bucks to feed their families, as opposed to my friend Danny here fought Auntie Wilder. I mean, that was the mismatch, because the guy is 3 feet taller. You know what I'm saying? So I sometimes I look for guys to be okayed, but based on another guy that you might look at twice. Do you know? Does that make any sense? Yeah. So a fair fight. It's all about a fair fight, right?
Yeah.
And like I say, some of those guys that have been training and maybe never won a fight and never made $1 in their life, and they have family. You know what I mean? That's the aspect of it. One time I argued before the board for a friend of mine, he was doing great and he had never won a fight. I told the board that he's going to win this fight because he knew it was coming, and he did. You know what I mean? So.
You were never a matchmaker before?
Yes, I have been a matchmaker before.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is
It's a same thing.
Same thing, you just let it lapse.
Yeah.
I make a motion we accept and approve.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in, I appreciate
My
it.
pleasure. I mean, why would I not come in if I want to do business with the board?
Okay.
Least I could do is show, and plus I'm only around the corner. So
Right.
All right.
Didn't have to take the play.
Right.
Thanks again.
Thank you for coming
Thank
in.
you.
Do we have more business or not?
All right, thank you. It's my turn.
This is all my.
I was
Oh,
hoping
good.
I could get through one meeting without that fight coming up.
You almost, yeah.
No? All right, thank you.
I had put in for a manager's license like 3 or 4 years ago, but I never heard back from them.
Okay. I guess we need to know where you sent it, who you sent it to, and we gotta try to get to the bottom of it, but, Guy, go ahead.
Donnie, when did you put in for a manager?
Probably like 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and I never heard anything from it.
Did we have a conversation about it?
Yes, we did. I came to the office and I brought the check in and filled it out right in Jen's office when we were downtown.
Right. But, Commissioner, let me look into it after I get out of here and see, but I just don't recall it.
Yeah, we'll look right into it. We can't look into it right now, but,
Yes, sir.
you know, apologize if how, you know, that got lost, but we'll try to get to the bottom of it, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks.
Donnie, did they cash your check?
Yeah, thank you. Hey, it was off of James' account, so. Yeah.
All right, I'll look into it and we'll get back.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. You have his contact info, Guy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Guy.
All right, so we're going to shelve 4 and 5. So, Mr. Phoenix, is he here?
He is not here. We
Okay.
can call him as well.
Wasn't someone calling 11:15?
So Frank Smith was calling at 11:15, so we're just
Oh, okay, yeah.
waiting on his. Not to jump around, but if we want, we can do the Deputy Commission training update.
Yeah, let's do that, for
And-
sure.
and
Appreciate
then
it. That's a good
we
idea.
can, while we're waiting for Frank Smith.
Definitely.
Oh, there you go.
There he is.
I have no idea. That's why I didn't do it. Probably done. Yeah.
Yep. Hey, Frank?
Hey, how are you doing? You okay?
Yes, Frank, this is Matt Keegan with the NSAC Group. This is our board meeting right now. This is actually perfect timing that you're calling. I'm going to pass you over to the chair of the board, Rod Waukee, and he can walk you through the promoter process, okay?
Perfect, thank you very much.
Thanks for calling in.
Hi, Frank, it's Rod Waukee.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Russ. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Yeah, very well. Thank you. Very good.
Good, good. So, you're speaking to the board here and a few members of the public and staff. If you were here, we'd ask you to come to the table, but we're not. You're not. So, if you could just tell us a little bit, A, why you're not here, B, just talk a little bit about why you'd like to be a promoter here in the state of Massachusetts.
Sure, of course. So, obviously, I'm based across the UK and US, so over UK boxing business, we promote around 25 events a year, and also oversee our US business, which is around 16 events a year since our signing with DAZN, our streaming partner. So I'm travelling a lot, so hence why I'm on the call rather than there in person. So apologies I couldn't make it in person, and I appreciate you taking the call. So my job title is Chief Executive Officer of both our UK and US businesses, and obviously as some may have seen, we recently signed a large broadcast deal with a media partner for DAZN, around 16 events across the US, and Boston and Massachusetts definitely somewhere where we want to hold a number of events going forward. So it's our plan to work on our first event in October, on October 20th. We're working alongside Ken Casey, who I know many of you know and have worked with in the past. And as I say, the plan is to bring boxing all across the US, and we're looking at this to be our second show as part of our new agreement with the DAZN for broadcast rights.
Okay, great. I'm reading through your resume here. Are you going to bring a heavyweight championship like the Klitschko fight here to Boston?
I hope so. We've got obviously Klitschko's aside, but we've got Anthony Joshua. So maybe in some time we'll start taking him around out because he's only boxed in the UK at the minute. So hopefully in time we'll bring him over to the US to box over there. But we've got I think close to 40 or 50 fighters in the UK, and we're building a stable in the US as well. So we're looking to find all the biggest names.
Well, that's great. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Mr. Smith?
I just want to make sure I'm reading this right. So you're currently licensed as a promoter in Texas?
Yep.
Okay. And how long have you been licensed as a promoter in Texas? Any events? Just anything on that?
Yeah. So we only recently got that. So we started promoting boxing in the US back in last November. So we signed Daniel Jacob as part of the HBO deal. So we haven't done any shows in Texas. We've done our first show in New York, but that was working again with another promoter. So we've since launched our US business. We had some issues prior because we were a UK business with getting bombed, etc. So we've now launched our US business, so we've been able to get licenses in a number of different states. So this will be, our first show is on October 6th, which is in Chicago, which Matchmaker as an entity have received their promoter's license with Eddie Hearn, my boss. So this will be our first show. That will be our first show with Matchmaker Boxing USA as a licensed entity as a promoter. But we promote, as I say, 25 boxing events a year and around 200 to 300 other sporting events a year as a group. And that's been all around the world for the last 30 years.
Okay, great. Any other questions, guys?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, we appreciate you calling in, and we very much appreciate you trying to get some matches here in Massachusetts. We wish you luck with that. So, anybody like to make that?
Yeah, I make a motion we accept the promoter or license for Frank Smith.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, congratulations, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you very much for your time. We look forward to working with you.
All right. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. The same button. Do it again. Just hit the same button again.
Same button here?
Yeah.
Okay. Bottjer, who works with Frank. He's in Florida right now. So,
Okay.
So I'm going to give him a shout.
Got it.
This is for a matchmaker.
Matchmaker, yeah.
Hello?
Hey, Eric?
Yes.
Eric, this is Matt Keegan calling from the MSAC board meeting. How you doing?
Very good, thank you.
So we're here in front of the board. I'm going to pass you over to the Chairman Rod Waukee, and he'll walk through the interview process for the matchmaker with the MSAC group, okay?
Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric.
Hi, Eric. Rod Waukee. How are you?
Hey, Rob, very good. How are you?
Good. Could you just talk through some of your past events, some of your past matches, not here in Massachusetts, and also please describe why you would like to be a matchmaker here in Massachusetts.
Sure, no problem. I started, got my matchmaker's license for the first time in 1992 in the state of Virginia, where I was living at the time. And since then, I've been licensed in more than half of the United States. I've done, hundreds of shows. Most of them are nationally televised shows on M.G.L, Showtime, ESPN, Fox, even Telemundo, and Television. I have been licensed in the past. Since 2005, when I was with a show up in Worcester, and currently licensed in New York, Washington, D.C., Oklahoma, South Dakota. We actually did a show in South Dakota in March. So I've never had a license suspended or revoked. I've never been brought in front of the commission on anything negative. I've never been questioned about anything that has been done in any of these shows. And quite frankly, these are good shows.
Okay, thanks, Eric. Commissioners, any questions?
No, pretty straightforward.
I have to make a motion, we accept Eric Bottjer's application for matchmaker.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Eric, thank you so much for calling in, and good luck here in the state of Massachusetts.
I look forward to out there, guys, especially in October now. Come down here in Florida. Not just for the cold weather.
Right.
But I'm really looking forward to the show. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
So,
Last one we'll probably get it.
Alexis,
Yeah.
Phoenix. So this is the individual that had trouble getting here this morning, so we can call him. If that's okay with the board?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks.
Kickboxing. I believe it's pronounced Mai Tai.
Let me see.
Hello?
Hey, Alexis?
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Matt Keegan calling from the MSAC board meeting. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
Good, so we're just going to...
How's everybody?
Everyone's, yeah, I think we're all doing good. So we're just going to review your applications. I'm going to pass you over to the chair, Rod Waukee. This is for the application of mixed martial arts and kickboxing timekeeper.
Okay.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Mr. Phoenix?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Rod Waukee. Could you just
Hi.
please talk us through why you'd like to be a timekeeper here in Massachusetts, and talk through your experience doing this in other places?
Okay. So the reason I wanted a timekeeper license in Massachusetts was to serve as a backup, just in case anything ever happened, and I could just sleep right in and work it. Like, let's say I'm resting, and then the timekeeper had to use the bathroom or whatever it is, I could still function in that capacity because of my licensing,
and still the show can go on. That's pretty much like what I do in New York when I do the amateur shows, but MMA and kickboxing and boxing. If I'm wrestling and I have to judge because for whatever reason a judge can't judge or they have some kind of conflict of interest, I'll just step in, judge, and then move on to whatever my duties are, just so that the show keeps going. And when it comes to the boxing aspect of what I do in New York, when you do amateur boxing, you have to actually do all three during a show. You have to judge, rep, and timekeep. So I just keep going with the flows, and I just like to be, trained as much as possible, so that whatever happens at a show, I can just jump right in and just help out. That's really the only reason I was putting it to the application.
Okay, makes sense. Any questions, Commissioner?
I make a motion, we accept the application. Are we doing both at the same time?
Do we have to separate them?
Do it two.
No, we can do both.
Both at the same time?
Yes.
All right, I make a motion, we accept the application for MMA and kickboxing timekeeper for Alexius Phoenix.
Would like to second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Mr. Phoenix. Thanks for calling in. Or we called you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thanks.
day. Be
Yep.
safe.
Have a good one.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thanks.
All right. Is Mr. Leonard here? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. So going to agenda item number 9. Why don't we go there before we go to the Deputy Commissioner training update? So. All right. Thanks for coming in. So you want to just talk through your application a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
I've been considering becoming a deputy commissioner for a few years. Since I've started attending the ABC conferences each year, it becomes more of a draw to become part of the commission here in this state. Starting to see a real need for it. Last show I attended, there was only 3 deputies. I think that as the sport progresses, we need to have more people want to be on the side of taking care of the fighters and looking at the shows, how they go on. So I put in my application now, and hopefully I have enough experience with the fighters, with how the state runs the shows, that I'd be a valuable asset, not a negative impact.
Okay. That's great. Do we approve applications for Deputy Commissioner?
It's in our reg.
Yeah, our
We do.
statute allows.
Statute.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have any questions.
No, I'm actually, I'm excited that you want to come on board.
Yeah.
I think we need,
Thank you.
and if you could recruit any more people, we'd love to have them.
I would love to be in a position where I could
Yeah.
help recruit some people, especially from the Western Mass side of the state.
Exactly.
So that
Well, through your outreach too, it looks like you're wired in.
trying to get folks to be able
Yeah.
to see
You
how
know
it
what I mean?
works,
Yeah.
There's people who believe that you folks don't want them to see how it works. It's just that there's not a lot of people that come
Yeah. No.
watch.
Yeah. No, I'm good. Make a motion, we accept the application for Deputy Commissioner Joseph Leonard.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
a lot.
All right. So let's go to agenda item number 7, Deputy Commissioner training update.
Yeah, we held the meeting out in Milford.
Okay.
It was well attended. We had a few that couldn't make the training. We all spoke. We had some guest speakers. Gene Del Bianco was our rep that spoke with us. We had some hand wrapping experts with Scott Ream and Mark Cardarelli. We got a lot of good feedback, a lot of good dialogue as far as what to look out for. Gene gave us a lot of good insight about things that he notices about the deputy commissioners and what he would like to see. But overall, I think it was a very good event. One of the issues raised was the increase, potentially getting an increase in pay from the $75 stipend per event. That was one of the issues that was brought up by the current deputy commissioners. But as I said, overall, I feel like the training went well. We're planning on doing another one for the people that did not make it. So, but overall, as I said, the session went very well.
Okay. Any action items for the board?
Not at this time right now, but I think, it's in our statutes. We talked about this before, about the $75 per event. So that's something we could probably get started with.
Yeah. And I'm assuming we can just throw that right in with some of the other things we're considering, right?
It's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
It's not part of our regular
It's statutory.
statute.
Yeah. So someone would have to file a bill. So, I don't know.
All right, well.
We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah.
That's a legal issue. I'm going to let you guys handle that.
But that's something we can start working on. I think. Yeah.
Other than the $75 complaint.
Yeah.
Was there any positive feedback?
Yeah, there was definitely positive feedback about the hand wrapping, getting those techniques. Scott Ream did a very good job of going through what are some of the quote-unquote kind of tricks of the trade by some of the individuals of the managers, the trainers, and what to look for. So I think overall it was very good. And we got some new people that will be applying to be a deputy commissioner. So it went well.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
And is there just frequency? Is this think enough? Do you think we need to do it more? Or, yeah, Guy?
Well,
What are your
we're
input?
putting on new deputies constantly.
Yeah.
So that was, one of the issues is, how's the procedure going to work? Does the board want to see every applicant? Or can it be at the director's level that they bring them in? Because we could have, everybody that did attend, we could have brought on to these fights that we had this weekend, but it had to come before the board first. And again, it's my opinion, maybe the directors can make that decision and then maybe let you meet them afterwards, but they could have certainly come in and started the training. I mean, somebody like Mr. Leonard, he's been in the industry, he knows every facet of it. So bringing him in to train him, to bring him up to our standard would have been very easy.
Yeah.
So, and we couldn't, we had to wait for this, so I think we need to look at that.
Well, how hard is it to change that policy, assuming we agree?
It's a delegated authority. We would, as a board, we would delegate authority to staff to approve deputy commissioners.
Right. How do you feel about that? Any opinions?
Hadn't we talked about that previously?
We talked about some other delegated authorities, I think.
I gave the director what the previous boards have delegated.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all you have to do is just pick and choose and cut and paste, and I think that would be done.
I think what we should do is probably have maybe on the agenda next meeting.
We do that?
Maybe some delegated authority. What we think
Sure.
is delegated authority.
I
Unless we
think
already
that
did it.
I understand the importance of being able to make that decision, especially in light of the fact that we don't have many deputies.
Right.
But I think that this should be something that is reserved for the board, since they are representing the board at these functions. And I think it'd be a great idea to meet these people and be able to ask them questions and not have the director make the directors or whoever it is at the board decide to delegate to make the decisions, especially since it's in the statute that it's the commission that will deputize these people. But we can certainly add it to the agenda so that we can speak to it more at the next meeting.
No, I appreciate your opinion, but I think we need to also offer our opinion on it. Because there's two sides to every coin. I just think that the fact that, we have struggled in the past getting enough of these deputy commissioners and we're losing any. It's one thing for bureaucracy to take some time and getting it done, but if we're actually losing anybody because of it, we need to think that through.
Well, I guess the question for now is why didn't those people that were going to work this weekend come today?
I just work. And that's the other issue. A lot
No,
of these guys
no.
have work.
No, so why? They couldn't work because we didn't see them. But why aren't they here today?
Because it conflicts with their real job. And that's part of the other issues. They can't keep making, they can come in at night, to fights at night because they're off work, but.
But if they really want to be deputy commissioners, right?
I guess
Come
you
on.
can look at, there's two sides, you can look at that, and there you go, with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do they, I don't know, what do they make? It's borderline voluntary position, right, with the amount of money that they
Right,
make.
but I think to Natasha's point, they do represent us. I mean, that's a good point. I was sort of like thinking, you know, when you think about, you don't want to hold up the bureaucracy at all. But, God forbid we put somebody on that's representing you, me, and.
Well, I hear you, but if it's not just abroad, any staff can approve it, but maybe we have one person that we can trust that, I definitely think we should strongly consider it. That's my opinion.
Is the idea they would need to go through the training first before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you delegated it in that sense, right? Delegate it as long as they go through I actually wrote it down, onboarding, like you onboard them into and the part of that onboarding is this deputy commissioner training. So maybe that's like we'll delegate the authority with that caveat, the person has to go through that. I don't know. There's definitely different ways to skin this cat.
There is. It's great. It's great because we want to do the right thing. So why don't we keep thinking about it and talking about it, and maybe put it on the agenda for next time.
Might I make a suggestion, Chairman?
Why don't we go with Will first, Jeff?
I was just gonna say maybe we should let them know well in advance. Maybe that way they can.
That they have to be here or what? How come they didn't know?
Well, they knew about 2 weeks ago, so it's kind of tough to.
Revamp their whole schedule. How many were there that were not? I'm sorry.
There's like 3, 4, actually
Four came to the training that actually not deputized, right?
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, we should definitely capture that group. That means they're engaged, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's no through the chair.
Well, 2 came to the training.
Oh, yeah.
Just to clarify, 2 came to
the training
and we received 2 additional applications
Oh, okay.
after.
Oh, after. All right, great. Yeah, all right. That's still good though, because first of all, I want to commend everybody who did this. It was great. This chairman was really, you guys took a time out of your day, your weekend to go and help these people get through this. And we've been asking for this for a year, so it was really good. It's really very commendable for you guys to do.
The biggest plus with that whole training, with everybody, the consensus was that Natasha fed them well.
Is that what it was?
Need to thank Gene for coming up as well. He flew up from Virginia.
Oh, he
Gene was
did?
the boxing ref.
Wow,
And
okay.
just to bring it up to you as well to the board, he's offered his time to do a referee training update, training session for refs. So maybe that's something we could bring up at the next board meeting.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe could we get an update on, so I guess it's deputy commissioners and refs. You don't have to keep retraining matchmakers or you don't train matchmakers and timekeepers, but, so am I missing anything in terms of training? It would be the refs and the deputy commissioners.
Judges.
Judges.
Well, I was going to ask about if we do anything like this for the ringside physicians, because I know there's been some thoughts about making sure they're well-rounded in their ability to, identify issues in advance, and just an idea.
Currently, we don't.
I mean, they go through.
Is that under, would that be up to the medical advisory board to do that, or?
That's one of the things that we can add to their agenda.
Okay, why don't we do that?
Report
Just,
back to us.
and just to finish the thought on this, just so we're aware of how often the ref trainings are and these deputy commissioners, just information, not we're looking for anything more than that.
Okay.
So I still want to get to your comment, but go ahead.
Sorry. On the referees and judges training,
Yeah.
the board has approved Dave Ginsburg to certify upcoming judges. They go to his class, which he gave to this board their curriculum. And the same thing with Kevin McDonald. The only issue that I have with Kevin McDonald's course is he sends him through his course and certifies him, but he doesn't certify him as ring worthy. So there was a little issue with that. Now, since he's been with ABC, he wants that training to go through ABC. So, but this board can authorize somebody to come in and certify people for judges and referees.
Okay.
But Dave Ginsburg has been doing the ones for judges.
But you're saying Kevin wants it to go through the ABC?
Yeah.
All right, so let's circle back to Deputy Commissioner. That was a line of conversation we had when you raised your hand, so.
Is it possible to form a committee of deputy commissioners or a recruitment committee? And then now we can kind of get an idea of who's interested, where they're from, what their availability might be. And that might make it easier for people to attend or to be on the agenda so that they can either call in or be called.
And who would be on the committee?
I would volunteer myself.
Yeah.
If there's any other, like the chief deputy commissioner.
Yeah. Okay, we'll
Mark
take that,
Carvalho or
that,
anybody like that might be willing. And I was wondering if there's anywhere that the stated duties of a deputy commissioner is presented. I've looked online, I can't find it with the MSAC
Okay.
paperwork or anything like that.
Yeah, we have duties. We can give you the assigned duties, but we went over it in the training.
That's part of the training.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it might be a good idea if that was available for people who might want to be deputy commissioner, but they don't know exactly what it is that they would be doing.
I think that that's part of the deputy application.
It's not.
It's not, okay. It was, okay.
It's just the form.
Yeah.
But there was, we have the language, so it's
Yeah, and I would agree with you. I mean, the fact that we're always looking for people, that it's just part of almost like marketing, right? That where, you know, you become a deputy commissioner and make it easy for them to see on the website and any other paperwork.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman, so that's my thought is kind of the rising tide theory,
Yeah.
where we get some more recruiting, we get more people in the pipeline for the deputy commissioner. It will solve the problem of whether they have to come in front of the board or not. We'll have more applicants. It'll, you know, the ones that really want to make time to put the time, will take the time to come in front of us. Do you think? I mean,
Good. Okay. Good. Well, thanks for the update.
You got it. That's good.
All right. Let's go to update of medical requirements within New England states.
So this was brought up at the last board meeting to, you know, in hopes to work with the other New England states to have, you know, universal requirements. We just wanted to give the board a little guidance of what the difference is as far as medical requirements are concerned for each state in New England, and kind of get your guidance on how to go from there, because as you can see, there are some differences, especially, you know, in the blood work or the EKGs or the MRIs. So, you know, just get your guidance from if that's something you still want to pursue. But as you can see, there could be some challenges as far as getting everyone on the same page as far as the kind of New England application.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, please.
Do we know, maybe this is a question for Natasha as well, do we know what state we typically get the most applicants from in New England for fighters or for, you know, like, do we, is most of the crossover with New Hampshire and Maine? Is most of the crossover with, you know, Connecticut and Foxwoods? Just thinking about if we're going to make an effort to reach out and streamline the process, is there a logical starting point? I mean, Vermont is obviously a bit of a lost cause.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do, and I'd look into that so that I can give you that answer. I don't have it right now. If I had to guess.
Yeah, just curious, yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably say Connecticut, if I had to guess. But that's certainly something we can look into and come back to the numbers for you.
Because I think the whole idea is, you know, can we logically streamline the process to make the application, you know, the medical side easier for fighters coming in and, you know, help, again, just streamline the process. So is there a logical starting point? Is it Connecticut? Is it reaching out to Maine or New Hampshire? I think Rhode Island might be a bit of a,
So it looks like Mass. What is the 6 months? What does that mean? So every 6 months, I'm looking, I'm sorry, New Hampshire, HIV, hepatitis, blood work.
They require it 6 months within the event. within the
And we
time.
required a year.
1 year.
So we're less stringent than them, and Rhode Island, and Maine, on the blood work. And everyone's pretty much even on everything else, right? It's like, what does time limit mean for making a son on MRI?
They indicated they required it, but there was no time limit posted. So we don't know whether it's 5 years, a year. We can reach out to them and get more information.
So, looking at this, we look like we're in line. I don't think anybody's.
But isn't more the goal to hopefully get to a point where it's universal?
That would be low, but.
Almost a common application.
Yeah.
Tall order.
Mhm.
As much as it makes sense, it just, with all the changing boards and politics and things, it
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
There's a lot of like different nuances too as
I
well.
know.
Like if you're a 35 or older, and
You're
like
right.
it's Rhode Island, you have to get a stress test.
Yep, yep,
And if,
yep.
I mean, I think the goal for us is to make the process streamlined for promoters who, you know, are frustrated with bureaucracy and having all the information from a fight somewhere else 3 months ago.
Yep.
And I, you know, you wonder if that's solved in just what Massachusetts is willing to accept. And is there anything that sticks out that is causing a problem, you know, for, I guess, causing any major source of frustration with these promoters or boxers and us not accepting meds or?
We do.
Yeah.
We do accept meds from other jurisdictions. That was a problem initially,
Yeah.
but we have since changed things.
Yeah.
And so now we accept it and we share it. And all
Yeah.
they have to do is sign the form that the board approved.
Yeah, okay.
And so that's no longer an issue for us.
No,
And it's
please
been
go.
communicated to the promoters as well.
Okay.
The only issue that you usually run into is the when it says clear to fight or clear to box.
Mhm.
That's the only issue really that comes out.
From another jurisdiction, or from our
Okay.
Oh, this is good.
Okay.
I would
Yeah.
just be interested in, excuse me,
No.
as, what New York and Vegas.
Okay.
Okay. We should probably add them to the next, if we're gonna come.
We tried
compare.
the reciprocity group,
Mm-hmm.
and and I have all the letters from every jurisdiction in New England that we were working with. Only obstacle was the medicals. If we could have gotten all the medicals, you know, in line. And at the time, ours was 6 months. Since then, it's a year now. And there are a couple that are 6 months. And what you're looking at over here for Connecticut, it's not the state, it's the tribal.
Yeah.
So it's like right there. I think if we gave it another shot, you could put it together. And one of the other issues was that they were upset that they may lose money. In fact, they wouldn't, because a lot of their fighters come to Massachusetts to fight. And now, if it was responsible, they'd have to get licensed there, even if they wanted to fight here in Massachusetts, because that was part of the package.
Okay. Yeah, it seems really close, except for the EKG, and chances are the MRI is similar. So maybe we should try to meet with the gentleman down at Mohegan Sun in the fall. All right, anything else on this topic?
Thank you for putting this together.
Okay.
All right. Agenda item number 11, review of MSAP applications.
So we did put the old ones in there as well.
Okay. All right, anybody want to walk us through this?
Can we just go in order? Seconds,
These are the ones that we left off at, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so we had a checklist, it looks like, right? We never had before. What has changed on the second? I'm looking at the seconds, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
seconds.
It's like a little more comprehensive experience.
Yes.
So if you've been convicted of a crime, outline your background and experience. So it's really the crime. That's what's been added, a little more in depth.
Yeah, do we just make a motion to accept it? Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we accept the changes to the second application.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye. Looks good.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, so the referee.
This one's pretty straightforward. Same thing, checklist. Experience.
So, who was, made these changes? Was it anybody at this table?
I'm sorry, staff.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just trying, why don't somebody just walk us through,
Okay.
made the changes, what has changed?
So one of the things that's changed is that where it says application for referee up top, we did add a note here that you can't be a referee within 1 year of the date of the application if you have fought in an event. That was not included in the previous application, but it is in the regulations. So
Okay.
that's one of the changes that was added to this so that it could be clear to the applicant.
Mhm.
For the most part, so that was the major change for the referees.
Okay.
Just making it consistent.
Anything else?
We did remove the language part.
Mhm.
The old application indicates if you speak a different language, that was removed completely.
Okay.
I think we added how many,
Have you ever been suspended,
if they've ever been suspended, how many times
Revoked.
they've served as a referee.
convicted of a crime? I think too as well, just a little bit more detail on their experience.
Okay.
Looks good. I'd make a motion that we accept the referee application.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. I'd like to welcome Commissioner Bradley to the meeting.
Thank you. I apologize for my previous absence and my tardiness today.
No problem. We are reviewing the MSAC applications. Agenda item number 11. So let's go to judge application. And Natasha, if you could walk us through what's changed, that'd be terrific.
So again, it's the cover sheet. With the judge, it's very similar to the referee's application. They could not have fought in an event within 1 year of the date of the application. It details your experience, and that's pretty much it, whether or not they are in good standing in other jurisdictions, if they've been convicted of a crime, if they've been disciplined in another jurisdiction, again, approximately how many events they've judged, and just some detailed information about their experience as a judge.
Okay.
I make a motion, we accept the new judge's application.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One more. Timekeeper application. What's changed here, Natasha?
Just the instruction sheet. We removed the language option. Just more information is required in terms of their experience, whether or not they've been convicted of a crime or disciplined in another jurisdiction. Those are the changes. Whether they've hold certifications in other jurisdictions.
Make a motion, we approve timekeeper updated applications.
Second that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Those look good. Thank you for all that work. Yep. On this.
Great. Okay, yeah, that was crossed off the agenda. So I guess we're just looking at the schedule of board meetings and events. So the next event is Monday, August 20th, tonight. That's today, sorry. It's like, oh, is there a big boxing match tonight? I'm excited. All right.
Unless you want to fight.
That's the board meeting. Okay, does anybody have any problem with any of these dates here?
Check. I mean, Friday, October 19th is my birthday, but.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have blow a cake.
Yeah, I expect some special treatment.
That's right, we'll drop it something.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, why don't we all look at it, and we'll get this to Commissioner Carger and make sure this is all gonna work for everybody. Now let's go to there is not a fight tonight, the boxing schedule. Boxing and MMA. It's pretty light, huh? Pretty light schedule?
For now.
For now.
It may change.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Because they have 30
Yeah.
days to apply for event applications. For it, yeah,
So where, I'm just interested, where are they thinking, is there any rumor on where this event, October 19th is gonna be?
That's Tuesday.
It's TD Bank.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, great. All right, awesome. So, let's go to matters not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance. So if there's anybody here at the table that has anything they'd like to add or talk about before I open it up to the public.
I would, Chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
Natasha, do we have a list of current applicants to become deputy commissioners, especially Western Mass? Is there
A list of current, we can make the list for you. We do have 4 new applicants. We have, other than the ones that were listed on the agenda, we don't have the other 2 names. We can get it for you.
The reason I ask is I spent a great deal of time in Western Mass, and a number of, at one of our meetings, there was a mention that there was a shortage of qualified deputies in Western Mass. So I've done a little bit of recruiting on behalf of the commission.
Great.
But they seem to think that, it's kind of a little he said, she said, that their applications, they claim to have sent them in. And I just want to make sure that they're being processed.
We processed the applications we received. We did have a training. There were 2 new applicants, and we received 2 additional applications after that, so we do have 4.
As recently as, do you know?
A couple of weeks ago, as recently as a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Is there an opportunity for me to take a look at that list? So I can
Sure,
encourage
we
you?
can make our list
All
for you,
these guys are,
absolutely.
would be fine deputies, especially if we're looking for people in Western Mass. They're from the Pittsfield area.
Yeah.
One of the 4 is actually Mr. Leonard, who's here today. So we can.
Oh, I know. I'll speak to you after, Natasha.
Anything else? Go ahead, Jack.
I'd like to make a recommendation that until maybe temporary, that we suspend the 2 shows and have maybe 1 show a week for now until we get caught up. This weekend was pretty stressful having 2 shows, especially one on Friday, one on Saturday. Keep in mind, there's weigh-ins in between those.
Yeah.
So until we're further caught up, maybe just 1 show. And maybe we ought to look at the IP template to see if we can fix that so that somebody goes in and applies for a show, that date's taken. And right now, you go in there, 6 other people could call you and put on the show. It'll accept everybody that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start, because they got it, they start making preparations for it. They'll notify the venue that they've already applied with the state, and there's where the issues come in, because they've already started putting out money on the show.
Mr. Commissioner, so wasn't there a concern about people reserving dates just to hold the date?
That's always been,
but knowing that they might not put a show on, but they just wanted that date and then backing out? Is there any way to solve that problem? I mean, is that, you know?
No, because I mean, everybody has a right to apply for it and then cancel it, so you don't know who's trying to block somebody else out. I mean, on our level, we don't know that.
Yeah.
But the plot thickens also, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna ask one quick follow-up. So on the, when you say caught up, what do you mean by caught up, I guess? Just a concern about, you say once we get caught up.
Once we get enough deputies to work.
The deputy commissioner concern.
And officials.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just today you've approved Alexis Phoenix. We needed him, we needed Dan to, because we don't have any officials for Muay Thai. Okay, and so approving these guys helps us out tremendously, especially a guy like Alexis Phoenix, who can take any position, just because, you never know, you go to a fight, an official could drop out because he was in an accident, God forbid, or something, and then we got to start scrambling to figure out how we're going to put it together. And having somebody like Alexis Phoenix, and we have others who can do several things, it's really good.
Mm-hmm. So,
but it's right now, it's too much to, I would suggest, again, one show a week.
Yeah, it's a tough one to manage. You have any thoughts? Sure.
I'm just, what, go ahead, Will.
But also, the promoters, they were told that they should call before they book a date. And every now and then they forget to do so. I think that's what the problem occurs, but.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the restaurant business. It's like, the same problem. Like, you take reservations for half the restaurant, people don't show up, and it's, that's what the issue is. But, I mean, in terms of the overcapacity of when they don't cancel, just describe how that's going to change when you said, wait for us to catch up. Give me a little color on that. Good.
I'm talking about catch up with the number of officials that we have.
Yeah.
Because right now, if we book a couple of shows in 1 week, we have to scramble to make sure we have enough officials to supply the fight, both fights. We have to make sure we have enough of deputies to also, to do both fights.
Yeah. Okay.
So the regulations allow us to hold multiple events, presuming we are able to staff, and it's a decision that we would have to make. It makes it clear here. We do have to consider certain things, geographic locations.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems that it would be a decision that the MSAC staff would make, particularly Matt as executive director, as to how many shows can be put on one evening. Previously, we did decide, because of the shortage of officials, deputy commissioners, we would go with one show. But if the determination is made that we're able to do 2 shows in the evening, 2 events in one time, then we would be able to go forward with that. But there was at one point a decision made by MSAC
mm-hmm.
That there would be 1 show during the evening because of staffing issues.
How often is it?
It's addressed in the regulations. It makes it clear that we can't put more than 1 if we take certain factors into consideration.
Okay. How often are people booking shows and then canceling at the last minute? causing problems? Is that a big issue?
Since I've been here, I haven't seen the cancellation of shows deliberately done. So reserving a spot and then canceling the show. The issue that we have had is 2 promoters wanting to put events on during the same evening and having to deny a request. And basically what we do is first come, first served.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you have a completed application in the system, then you'll receive your spot.
All right, so it doesn't sound like we need to really focus on solving that problem. It's more focusing on just our capacity, bringing in more commissioners and, all right.
Chairman?
Yeah, please.
One of the issues that has come across my path is preferred dates that a promoter requested and was granted, and then a competitive promoter would approach him, and then they started selling the date, which is kind of black market stuff. So it's out there. It's been done. So, and I don't have any solutions to that other than a stern warning that if you take this date, it's exclusively yours and it will not be considered for anybody else. I think of one instance specifically where a date was preferred and it had been previously locked up by this board, granted a promoter a date, and he sold it for $5,000. I don't know how the rest of the board feels about that, but I don't think we want to get into that precedent. I don't know how Natasha would safeguard against that.
I don't either. I'm not sure how he was even able to do
sting.
that.
Yeah.
Because once you have the date, you'd have to cancel with us.
Yeah, well, he
Somebody else
canceled to allow the other to receive it.
Yeah.
For a fee.
Okay. Well, why don't we just keep our ears close to the ground on that if it's happening a lot? I mean, that's a major problem.
One of the things that we can do is take disciplinary measures against the promoter who sold it. Because certainly the regulations, or bought it, both,
Right.
actually.
But you'd have to open up an investigation.
Oh, yeah,
and that's
Absolutely.
major.
Absolutely.
A lot of he said, she said too. Would have to be very
Oh, yeah, that's,
Yeah, no, I'm not suggesting any type of, going backwards, but going forwards, said this is exclusively your date and no other events will be considered on this date, under any circumstances, something along those lines.
But you do have the situation where you have a promoter who planned on putting on an event and something happens and now they have to cancel, maybe schedule.
Right.
So I
Well,
don't know how
I
to
just bring it
address
up because it's out there.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
I mean, Guy, what are your thoughts, or Natasha in general, like, how far away are we from the capacity of 2 shows in a weekend without it being an issue? I mean, do we need another month, another 2 months? I'm just, because I mean, we're trying to promote the sport, we're trying to promote events, we want it to be a thriving environment here in Mass. It just sounds like the wrong message is, hey, we can't handle more than 1 show a weekend. And it creates other problems, kind of what we're talking about. So how far away do you think we are?
Well, it's hard to say, because this weekend show, we had a boxing and we had an MMA. That's not a problem usually with officials, because they're totally 2 separate. You have 2 MMA shows, one in the western part of the state, one over here.
Yeah.
It's one, we don't have enough deputies right now. It doesn't look like we're gonna have it soon, because these deputies have to get trained in each area. Can't put a new guy in the dressing room that never rapped a guy before, doesn't know what the rap is. I would trust somebody like Joe, because he's been in the industry, he's been a boxer, he's done this stuff, he knows this stuff. On the other hand, he's been an MMA fighter, so training him into the boxing would be, And as far as officials, you're running into the risk where you're running low. If you have 2 MMA shows, we have only so many MMA officials, and then you have, even if there was a perfect world, they were all available, then you got the ones that are on vacation, they're not available for this fight, or, because that's what usually throws our rotation out of whack, because you go down the rotation and you get 2 guys who, 2 judges who can't make it because they're on vacation, and so it starts getting limited.
Mhm.
How many deputies?
We only have 5 doctors, and
Yeah.
trying to schedule those guys is difficult.
Sure.
Guy, if you give us your average, let's say 12-bout card with 500 people in attendance, how many deputies are we supplying?
Well,
assigning, I should say.
I gotta tell you, this weekend did a kind of a number on me personally. It was a stressful weekend.
Yeah.
Excuse me, we have a couple issues about deputies, which we can go into later.
Yeah.
I'm all for cutting down the number of deputies needed.
Really?
Yes. I don't think we, this is my opinion, I don't think we need more than 5 per show.
Right.
Then you got Will and I, so that brings you up to 7.
Right.
Even if the agency said we can only send 1 guy from now on, then you're still looking at 6.
Right.
So you got the chief and 2 people who are all around. I don't believe we need more than 5, because if you look at the tasks that we do, the dressing room is the main one. And in some of these venues that don't have electronic count, you need somebody accounting the tickets at the door. And
well, the dressing room, the ring walk, and then the supervision of the corner. The last in Marina Bay was a Murphy boxing show.
Correct.
I thought we were woefully understaffed. I mean, I wound up supervising reps just because deputies weren't in sight.
I don't know, that's not one of the easier venues. I'm not sure why we didn't have anybody in those dressing rooms, but I think I remember what you were talking about, because I was in signing on some reps, because they came and got me and said, can you come in and sign this on?
They were desperate for attention, or desperate for help with respect to deputies. The TV, the TV people, the production people were being pains in the asses. They wanted a deputy at the back door, et cetera, et cetera. But I thought we were a little bit.
I'm talking normal shows, not normal club shows. The TV shows we have a far in between, but we'll
That
just.
day we had 2 shows that day.
We had 2 shows that day.
Yeah. Were you at the Murphy show?
No, I was at Melrose at that time.
You know, Melrose, you could do very easily with Melrose with 5 people in commission.
That might have been an aberration. I don't, I'm not making a sweeping generalization, but 5 is, we have figured out that to be a standard.
Based on the venues that we have, I would say, 5 is not a problem. And then you don't have deputies tripping over each other. You don't have deputies finishing an assignment and going to sit in the stands, and, you know what I mean? The deputies, you know what your assignment is, you know where it is.
Right.
Plymouth is probably one of your worst ones, but once the 2 inspectors are up where they belong, there's 4 up there, they keep rotating, you know?
Right.
And they're walking, traditionally, we would have only walked the pros down, not the images.
Right.
So you only need 4 people up there, 2 walking down, 2 getting the other 2 ready, and then we always get ready the first 4 shows. We get those first 4 bouts, and then once that's done, they're already set to go. So after the 3rd one comes out, you go start signing off on the others, because they're almost ready. They're almost ready to glove up. So other than and then the guys that are walking the 2 down that are going to participate, they're at the gate.
Right.
They're watching the gate.
Right.
When they're done, their fighter is taken to the doctor. They go right back up to the dressing room, and that repeats all night.
So long story short, you're confident that 5 deputies plus other staff. I mean,
Yeah, 5 plus 1 guy is like 7. It should definitely be good.
I'm sorry, well, what?
I'm saying if we have 5 deputies and me and guys there, so we should definitely do it, including the chief. So technically 8.
No, I'm saying 5, including the chief.
Oh, okay.
5 is included?
The chief, yeah.
Chief.
I think it depends on the venue.
Yeah.
I think there's some
Oh, yeah.
venues you
I was
can
gonna
go
ask,
5.
what about the show on the 20th at the Garden?
The garden show is spread out a little bit more, but everything's in the same corridor. Again, they're all in the same corridor. So depending on the number of fights, and usually it's gonna be boxing, there'll probably be, maximum will be 10 fights. So again, you're wrapping up the first few, you're in there doing this, so there you would need probably another couple guys.
Right. My final point is, a matter of style. Is it important for us to have deputies working at the point of egress?
Egress?
Yeah.
No, we don't really have jurisdiction over that. That's the venue. I mean, the venue and the.
Would it be? Yeah.
Well, our chief, and we do, make sure that they're clear. We always make sure they're clear, even though we're not. if we see something, door chained or door blocked,
Yeah.
we definitely will say something, even though it's not our jurisdiction. And most of the time, the fire department is there, we'll bring it to their attention and
Right.
let them do their job.
No, I was just saying more of a point of like keeping people from sneaking in or out, you know.
That's all, that's, again,
I would think that.
lately it's
would be
kind of
the
policing
promoters-
itself because the promoter is seeing how much money they're actually
Right.
losing.
Right.
And they actually work with us now to help us. This Chuck Trencher that we just had, incidentally, he did a great job. He hired an outside firm because he didn't want people from that venue because those are the guys that let their friends in.
Right, sure.
So he hired an outside group, which helped us tremendously, and I gotta be honest with you, they did a great job helping us.
Yeah.
Blocking off the stairs, keeping people that didn't belong upstairs without a band, with people with drinks, and they manned a door that ordinarily would have let people in and out.
Yeah.
Everybody had to walk through the turnstile.
Right. How about radios?
Well, we have the radios, we're still waiting for the
Shoulder
earpieces,
mics.
because the radios are kind of useless the way they are, because there's so much noise in the venue.
Yeah.
You really can't hear it. You have to have the earpiece.
Right.
You know, and would it be help? Absolutely, it'd be help so that the chief could keep communication, and especially where most of the issues that we want to see happen ringside.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as, I think we were talking about the walkways and stuff, if we see the walkways are being, people are walking in, I'm sorry, crowding them,
Yep.
we get the police down and tell them, you know, you need to stay ringside and keep these clear.
How many deputies do we have?
After the training, it's 13 now, but
We have,
vacation.
yeah. So we have 24, roughly 24 on the list,
Mhm.
but we only have about 12 on the rotation who we can actually count on to go to the events.
Mhm.
And that doesn't take into consideration vacation,
Yeah.
sick,
So 5 and 5 is 10.
assuming everybody accepts our invite to the events, yes.
So how many do you, when you say 5, how many are you normally putting on then?
Normally, right now, we're looking to put like 7 people.
So
If you look at the
I'll
list
track
that
down
we
these
had,
guys.
I'm sorry?
The Western Mass guys were very interested, and this has been going on for a while. They swear to me that they put the applications electronically. I don't mean to bog down the meeting with this. these-
So I think, excuse me, I think this is a good discussion. I think it was good that you brought it up to the commission, but I also think it's something, I'll put my other hat on as a commissioner of the agency. I think we'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right? And we'll sort of make the determination on how many deputies and how many fights we can have.
Right.
You know, I think that's what staff's here for. That's why we're here. So, that sounds good to you, Mr. Chairman?
That sounds very good to me.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, moving
you.
on. Any other topics for discussion here before we open it up? Okay. So, I'd like to open it up to the public, and before I do, I'd just like to state that, you know, it's a policy of this commission to really listen, but I'd like to just state that, you know, if it's any, we're not required to respond, and we may ask that, you know, that points or questions are submitted in writing so we can all get together and respond properly. So I don't know if you'd like to open it up to the public, if anyone would like to speak.
I would, if you don't mind.
Not at all. Come on
I want
up.
to thank everybody for giving me the opportunity to come in here. I didn't know, this is my first commission hearing. It's the first time I've ever come here. I really wanted to come here to see what the format was, how formal it was, how informal it is. Just to give you a little background on me, my name's Dean Fay. I'm an 18-year police officer in Springfield. I've never done anything with professional boxing. I've been an amateur for going on 35 years now. I boxed as a kid, I boxed through the Golden Gloves. I went in the Army for 10 years, did 3 combat tours, boxed all through the Army. Being a police officer, I deal with a lot of at-risk youth. A lot of kids on the street. Springfield's a tough area. I was assigned to the street crimes unit dealing with a lot of at-risk youth. A lot of kids noticed me from boxing. I started a youth development program about 2 years ago. Came out of my own money. Came out of my own pocket. I sold my boat, sold my motorcycle, did everything I need to do because I'm sick of picking kids up with bullet holes in them. We started this program, Stan and I and a third person, Dave Capillo, We went in there, dumped $100,000 into a place to get these kids off the street. We have an academic program there where the kids come out of school. They come into our homework room. We have tutors, volunteer tutors that come in. They tutor these kids in their homework, and then they come out and train. I've done probably over 100 shows, amateur shows. I'm the director of the Western New England Golden Gloves. I run that national advancing program. I originally grew up in Holyoke. Holyoke was a hotbed for boxing when I was growing up. I'm an Irish kid. My parents came from Ireland. Boxing in Holyoke was everything. Unfortunately, in 2003, the Golden Gloves left. They went down to Connecticut. We lost the franchise in Holyoke. I was able to work hard 7 years ago, got that franchise back. We brought it into Springfield. It was playing in with M.G.L. All this stuff was playing in together. The gym is doing good. Now we get hit with this new CMR that came out that unfortunately USA Boxing has suspended all of our shows. So now I have 52 kids in my youth development program that I have to explain to why we can't have a home show. I have a tournament that had 4,200 people, 4,000 people came to our Golden Gloves finals 2 years ago, which is a huge, huge program. We registered over 300 kids from Connecticut and Western and Central Massachusetts to come in here. Now that tournament that we built from having 36 kids 8 years ago to having over 300 kids is gone. I had to move that tournament to Connecticut because we can't get the sanctions here in Massachusetts. I wrote letters to every state rep we have and every state senator. We've gotten some good replies back. I didn't know the format of the State Athletic Commission, but I'm educated now. I've read every rule and every law that there is pertaining to this. I think right now to hold, like I said, I'm not a pro guy. We do a lot with Murphy's Boxing, but it's more with the kids, and we help out with the shows. They rent our ring from us. That's about it. But other than that, I don't mess with the pros. I don't like it. I think, you know what I mean, no offense by this, but to me, I'm more about getting kids off the street, getting them an education, and getting them a job where they're going to be productive members of society. Right now, our program is in shambles. Unfortunately, when this email hit from USA Boxing, this email went out to every USA Boxing registered coach and athlete, and it said all boxing is suspended in Massachusetts. I got all these mothers, I got everybody from Connecticut calling me, what's up with the Golden Gloves, are we canceling it, what's going on? I mean, people are jumping ship, and there's just turmoil there, and unfortunately we're not getting a lot of feedback from our LBC where we should, where I thought coming to this meeting and sitting through it and trying to listen to the format, where I can actually go back to practice tonight and talk to my kids and say, you know what, they're working on it, we're going to push through this and we're going to make things happen. That's really all the reason I came here, we came here. I mean, I worked all night last night as a police officer, and we drove in here, got here way too early. I thought we'd hit a lot of traffic, and I got to work tonight. And I got to coach 52 kids at 4:30 practice starts. So, I mean, this is something that is affecting us. Unfortunately, we're a 501c3, we get no funding. Most of you can probably understand boxing is a hard sell. It's a hard sell for me to explain to someone that's never boxed before the values that boxing teaches. We use boxing as that vehicle to create structure in this kid's life, teach him how to be part of a team, teach him those necessities that he's going to need to be a productive member of society. Our gym, and my wife makes a dinner for the kids. A lot of these kids come from poverty. They have nothing. They have no clothes. They don't eat. My wife makes a crock pot every day. We bring it in. The kids eat at the gym. This has become their safe haven. This is their place to get away from the streets. I mean, some of, and Stan can contest, some of the hardest things we have to do is bring these kids home. That's the hardest thing. I mean, it's terrible because they're you know, they come from, you know, a lot of you will think you're having a bad day. You're not having a bad day. These kids have bad days. They come from situations that you couldn't even fathom, believe me. And this gym right now, the only way that we keep this gym funded is out of our pocket and through shows. Without the Golden Gloves, without that amateur show, we like to do a couple of months. Without that show, we're done. But I mean, I got to shut the doors. I mean, right now, I sold my boat, my motorcycle. We downsized the house. This is to get these kids off. I can't expect other people to be sympathetic to my cause. I don't expect that. But I'm the guy that at 3 in the morning, I'm kneeling over an 18-year-old kid with a bullet hole in his neck, wondering why this kid's out in the frickin' street. Why, if he was in my gym and he was training and he was living the life of an athlete, he wouldn't be out here with a bullet hole in his neck. These are the things that we're dealing with. It's hard to put that into perspective in a boardroom like this. But you know, it's not just my program. It's programs throughout the Commonwealth. I mean, we have gyms on every corner that they're out here getting kids off the street, and they're doing what they need to do. And you know, we were lucky enough with the Golden Gloves, we brought the whole team to the Nationals in Salt Lake City. These are kids that had never been out of Massachusetts. We took them to Salt Lake City, you know, for a week. We went up and saw the training, where they had the Olympics up in Park City, and I mean, took them to around. I mean, it was a great, you know, these are things that this program will stop, absolutely stop if we cannot run shows. But I just wanted to voice that, and I mean, anything that I can do to help this commission make a better educated decision. I mean, USA Boxing is the governing entity for all amateur boxing at this point, outside of the Mass State Athletic Commission. They do an excellent job. I've been through their training. I'm a certified coach. They safe sport their guys. They quality check their guys, and they do an excellent job. I will tell you, for our LBC, we have some of the most top-notch guys that USA Boxing has, and I've been to national tournaments all over the country. These guys really, they pay attention to these kids, and we as coaches have a personal understanding of these kids, and we would never put these kids in harm's way. If we thought that there was something wrong with this kid, I mean, we have kids in our program, the way we run the program, we have 3 groups. We have A team, B team, C team. A team are the kids that are ready to fight right now. They have their books, they have their medicals, they have everything in, they have their uniforms, they're ready to go. B team are the kids that have their medicals in, but they're not yet ready for their first fight. C team, we recognize these kids. We have a little nickname for them. We call them the Chub Scouts. But C team are the kids that will probably never box. I mean, that's the reality of it. You know, whether it's health issues, whether it's, you know, obesity or whatever the case is, but we become that safe place for them where they're part of a team. Most of these kids, they're just looking to be part of something that's bigger than them. And that's what the gym provides for these kids. And unfortunately, like I said, without these shows, boxing is gone. And it only takes, and I saw in Hoyle, the Golden Gloves left in 2003. In 10 years, boxing was wiped out and eliminated in Western Mass. It wasn't there. When I was a kid growing up in the flats in Hoyle, there was a gym on every corner. Every corner had a gym. Whether it was registered or not, there was kids, people had gyms in their garage. Now they're all gone. We run the South End Community Center boxing program out of Central City. Other than that, there's no gyms. It wasn't, not boxing gyms. I mean, MMA, I'm not an MMA guy. I don't know anything about that stuff. I prefer not rolling around with people on the ground. I prefer standing up. But that's, this is really, this is going to affect right here. This one decision will affect so many kids' lives. I mean, that's really what I wanted to get out to here and stress the importance of this. This is huge, huge, huge.
Plus, the amateurs are feeding the pros.
Yeah, I mean, the professional.
I'm cultivate a fan base. You started with the amateurs, and they watch it become pros.
And it is, and all
we
these
have pros
kids
that come right from our Western and Golden Gloves. Yeah, that have fought here in Massachusetts. Those kids aren't going to be known anymore. Now you're eliminating an amateur program.
That's all I wanted to say. Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for listening to me.
What's the name of your gym again, please?
Dean Fay, F-A-Y.
The name of your gym?
Central City Boxing and Barbell.
South City?
Central
City. Central City.
If it matters, also, they did an article on our gym. The Republican went out, the Associated Press picked it up, got nationally syndicated. It was in the LA Times, it was in the Chicago Tribune. We actually got invited. I took 3 of the kids out. We went on a Steve Harvey show in Hollywood. It was all over the news. Another one just came up, Connecting Point, which is out of WGBY. They did a big story that's nationally. I mean, it's got over 1 million shares on Facebook. I mean, this is a program that our model that we're using with. Right now, we're in a market for. We've been contacted by Western New England, now Western New England University. We have two of our tutors that are actually law students at Winnick. They help tutor the kids. We're starting a collegiate boxing team at Winnick, which will in turn, those kids from that collegiate team will be integrated into our mentoring program. So those kids will help our youth kids from 8 years old up to be able to cultivate that, to try to get these kids off the street and preach education.
Okay.
Dean, how can we help? How can the Athletic Commission be of assistance to you in your efforts?
I think the biggest thing that we have to do now is nail down what we have to do to get these medicals. I think really USA Boxing does a great job. It gets a little too stringent at times. Our medicals right now, we have to get a medical done every year. And on that medical, it has to say fit to box. We can't use the standard medical form that kids use for football or hockey or anything like that. It has to be the standard USA boxing form. There's actually 2 boxes. One says fit to box and one says not fit to box. When you get that form, if you rip off the top half, that top half goes in your book. It has to be done by a doctor, not a PA, not anybody else. It has to be done signed by a medical doctor. Every year they come in. It does not include blood work. I will admit that, and I am an advocate for blood work. But unfortunately, with the blood work, that has to be something that has to be brought to the USA Boxing national body, because unfortunately, if we have any, and you kind of touched on this earlier, if we have any stipulations to our license that differs from any other state, they're not going to fight here. So, like if we're in Springfield, we're right over the border from Connecticut. We draw most of our opponents from Connecticut. I mean, that's the way it goes. Being that I have the Western New England Golden Gloves, I run it in Springfield. Most of my boxers come 90% of the talent base comes from Connecticut. So now a boxer in Connecticut only has to have his USA Boxing passbook with his USA Boxing medicals and his registration form. So now Massachusetts is saying, no, you've got to be licensed in Massachusetts. This kid's saying, I'm not going to get licensed in Massachusetts. It's the only state in the entire country where they require a different license. No kid's going to do that. It's going to draw amateur boxing completely out. And a lot of these kids now, we've been fortunate. Most of the kids have Mass Health now. We have a place in downtown in the south end, a couple of blocks, Caring Health, which is a walk-in clinic for people that don't have health insurance. They've been doing our physicals for us, thank God. Because a lot of these kids, they don't have medical insurance, or if they do, it's very minimal. And they don't have the support base to bring them to appointments or do that thing. We do it a lot. We got a bus that was donated to us. We pick the kids up. We bring them to appointments. We do what we have to do to keep these kids off the street and keep them straight. I think the biggest thing we have to do now, I think there should be a strong delineation in the statute between amateur and professional. They're 2 completely different sports. They really are. Amateur boxing, I mean, we wear headgear. Everything is governed. I mean, those of you that have been to amateur bouts, you know they will stop that in a minute. I mean, they give standing eighth where if the kid just takes 1 clean shot, not even if he shows he took it, I mean, they're stopping it. I mean, that's the reality. Where professional, these guys are getting paid, and they want to put on a show. With the amateur boxing, one of our biggest things that we tried to fight 2 years ago was the State Athletic Commission charges us the 5%, the 4%, and 1%, okay, for the boxers falling into 4%. We don't make a lot of money on shows, and most of our shows are comp tickets. I mean, I don't charge a boxer to get in. A lot of these kids don't have money. If the kid comes and his mom or dad wants to come, I can't charge his mom or dad a ticket. They can't afford tickets. But unfortunately, when the deputy commissioner shows up, he looks around, he takes a head count and says, all right, I need this much money. At the end of the day, we have to pay an ambulance, we have to pay 2 cops, we have to pay a fireman, we have to pay a doctor, we have to pay all these fees. USA Boxing sanction fee, $800 to pull a sanctions. I have to pay every official $35 to show up. I have to pay a sound guy. I have to pay all these things, and at the end of the day, I'm going to end up pulling money out of my pocket because we can't afford it. I mean, it's getting so.
The cost to run a show.
It is. I mean,
it's $5 grand to run a show.
Just a baseline show, you're looking at $5,000. And just
to sell out a $5,000 show, it's nearly impossible to control.
I mean, you make most of your money on sponsors, where you try to hit sponsors up, but you can only hit them up so many times.
What's the sanctioning fee of $5 grand?
Well, no, I'm saying the total is about $5,000 to run a show.
What was the sanctioning fee?
$800.
800?
800. That's through USA Boxing. That's where USA.
Wrestlers with officials?
And then the officials, each one gets paid $35.
The state of Mass gets $10 for amateurs.
And Stan's actually a treasurer.
$10 plus the gate fee, 4%, and then 1% for boxing.
And a lot of that, you know, we've gotten in the doc there. He's
Dr. Levin.
No, the deputy commissioner.
Oh.
He's been great, and I tried to explain to him a lot of these tickets are comped out tickets. I can give now, we contracted to Vendini to do our ticket sales, so we can actually print out exactly what was sold
and what's not been
sold. So I can show him what, you know, I mean, if a sponsor says, hey, listen, we'll give you $5,000 for the year, you know, we just want a ringside table of 10 for all your shows. Well, I can't add that into the ticket sales because it was a tax deductible donation that he made to a 501c3. We're just saying thank you by giving him tickets, you know, ringside tickets so he could watch the kids. And I mean, it's just the price of doing business is so through the roof right now. We need to make it as easy and mainline everything with USA Boxing. I mean, they do a great job. The USAC, and we just did a show. I brought the United States Olympic boxing team to Springfield along with the Ireland Olympic boxing team. They came down, we did a show on St. Patrick's Day. Great show. MGM was behind us. Yeah, we did 3. We did one in Boston, one in Springfield, and one in Manchester. Excellent show. I mean, excellent. But the amount of money we had to pay, we lost money. Well, MGM lost money. Yeah. I didn't want, MGM got on board with that. They ran with the ball, but you know, there was money lost in there. I mean, unfortunately, because that's just the way things are.
So I think it's without question that you're doing wonderful work. And I think that the best way for us to proceed as a board, if you're willing to do this, would be to put your thoughts in writing.
Absolutely.
And articulate what the issue is, what the proposed solution is. Because as you can imagine, you know, at least we like to think that when we make decisions, they're thoughtful decisions. When we make changes, you know, we're here. We have a great board here, okay, and we have great staff. And from what I hear, it hasn't always been that great. And so, you know, we want to help. We're here to help, but we also may want to respond and articulate to you what we're up against. So I think what we need to do is really take the time, look at the facts, and look what we're up against in helping you out. But you know, again, you're obviously doing some great things, and we'd like to try to find a way to allow you to keep doing these great things.
Absolutely, and you know, I hate to say this, but you know, coming here, I didn't know what to expect. And you know, being a police officer, I've testified in federal court and in superior and district court. You know, and the common word on, you know, and I won't put words in other people's mouth, but everybody talks about the commission as being a bunch of hardball guys. You know, and I won't lie to you, I did my homework on the commission to see who was on the commission and what they were all about. I wasn't intimidated, but just hearing what's going on here puts me at ease that they are people that are out here to help, and they're not looking to, you know, Massachusetts has that reputation. You know, they're always looking to suck another dime out of you, you know, until you dry. I don't think that's the case with this commission. I think, you know, all your deputy commissioners have been nothing but excellent with us. We've had a great rapport with them. You know, and to see how you guys conduct business here, I'm impressed. I am. I mean, you're really doing it with some thought, and it's not just a off the top of your head type thing.
Thank you.
Great.
I thank you guys for doing a great job.
Again, thanks for coming in.
All right,
appreciate
thank
it,
you.
guys. Do you have anything?
Dan, Steve,
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for your efforts and with the boxing, but mostly putting the education before the boxing.
That's what's important.
Absolutely. Thank you. You want to keep that going.
All right, unless anyone has anything else, I think what we're going to do is wrap this up. So I'd like to close out the meeting today, again, Monday, August 20th.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.